Morning, everyone. Welcome everyone to the second semester classes. I think this is the first session of English for the second semester. I have already posted the textbook in the Google Classroom. You can download it from there. The textbook is available in the Google Classroom. I think most of you have joined in the Google Classroom. The textbook is also available at this link. You can download it from there. This is the textbook. The book is titled Rise and Shine. Like the previous textbook, it has got 4 modules. Each module has a different title. You can see the titles of the modules here. These are the 4 modules. Bonds of Love, Pearls to Pick, Flights of Fancy, and Ideas for Life. The text has got 4 modules. In this semester, we have a topic called phonetics, which appears in all the modules. You can see this topic appearing in all the modules. We have some questions for the exam also from phonetics. So phonetics is something that we will learn in this semester. Phonetics is nothing but the study of speech sounds. That is phonetics. Speech sounds ne kurichu, adayathu bhashayude shabdangal. So why is it important to study the speech sounds? How is it important to learn pronunciation? All these things we will learn when we take up this phonetic symbols. This will also be useful for you in other subjects like shorthand, where you also learn the same phonetics but in a different manner. Here the symbols that we use are not like the symbols that you may have in shorthand. There is a slight variation because these symbols and sounds are more native English, that is British English format, and in shorthand you may be learning more of the Indian versions. So there will be a slight variation, and there is no need of a confusion because there are many areas where there are common things. For example, the vowel sounds, consonant sounds almost are the same. So we will learn all that when we take up phonetics. It is there in all the modules, but we will take it up when we complete the first module's core text. So the symbols are there in the beside the contents page. Just before the contents page, we have the phonetic symbol. This is the contents page. We have 4 modules. Module 1 is titled Bonds of Love, and it is about relationships. And so that is the theme of the first module. So we have already discussed what does it mean to give a theme to a module. It means that everything in that module, including the core text, the exercises, the activities, all will be related in some one way or the other to the main theme of the module. For example, the first module's theme is relationships. That is understood by the title Bonds of Love. So this theme of relationship will run through the core text and the activities which are there in the first module. Like that, every module has got a particular theme, a specific theme, which will be dealt with in that particular module. We have a structure of the book which is given here. There is a small note to you for the students to read and understand about how to use this textbook. It will be good if you can go through this. You will understand how to make the best use of the textbook. So that is one thing that you can do when you use the text. So the important thing for this text is this is not just a textbook. Like the words to leads in the textbook. Even a text, it is not. It is a textbook, but it is not just a textbook because it is a textbook come activity book. It is a kind of workbook also. So we can write in it. We can do our activities in it. So it should not be treated like just a textbook. It is an activity book. So that is why the first paragraph itself says that if you do the activities, it will be easier for you because it is to prepare us for a job. So how to use the language when you are in a job atmosphere. So if you do the activities properly, it will be easy for us to use the language. We will become more comfortable in using this language. And here we are not learning the language like a subject. It is not also important to learn all the rules of language or grammar. We are not trying to learn by heart or by rote. To learn by heart all the rules is not only unnecessary but impossible. So what we are trying to do is to internalize the rules of grammar. For example, even in Malayalam, we don't learn all the rules of speaking the language. It comes automatically. Such kind of an automatism in learning the grammar is what we try to do through these exercises. So what is important is to create a grammar consciousness rather than a grammar knowledge. ഗ്രാമറിനെ കുറിച്ചൊരു അറിവ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നതിനേക്കാളും ഗ്രാമർ ഒരു ബോധമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഉള്ളിൽ ഉണ്ടാവുകയാണ് പ്രധാനം. അത് എല്ലാ ഭാഷയിലും അങ്ങനെ തന്നെയാണ്. നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ച് സംസാരിക്കുന്നതല്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് സംതിങ് വിച്ച് വി അബ്സോർബ്. It is which we internalize into our consciousness. So such a grammar consciousness is created by most of the exercises that we do. അപ്പോൾ ഗ്രാമർ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് പഠിപ്പിക്കുകയല്ല. We are learning, we are coming across the language in different situations. അപ്പോൾ ആ സാഹചര്യത്തിൽ നിന്നാണ് മാതൃഭാഷയും നമ്മൾ അങ്ങനെയാണ് പഠിക്കുന്നത്. സാഹചര്യത്തിലൂടെയാണ് പഠിക്കുന്നത്. ഒരു കൊച്ചുകുട്ടിക്ക് നമ്മൾ മാതൃഭാഷയിലുള്ള പരിശീലനമൊന്നും നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നില്ല. ആ കുട്ടി അന്തരീക്ഷത്തിൽ നിന്നും ഭാഷ ഉൾക്കൊള്ളുകയാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Like that, we are trying to learn the second language also, foreign language also, by absorbing it from the atmosphere and creating it as part of our consciousness. So this is what we should attempt to do. That is what this second paragraph says. And another important thing is, this is not something that the teacher has to teach you. Okay, this course book is designed as a self-learning material. അപ്പോൾ ആ എക്സസൈസ് എടുത്തില്ല. അപ്പോൾ യു മസ്റ്റ് ഹാവ് നോട്ടീസ്ഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഇൻ ദ പ്രീവിയസ് ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്ക് ഓൾസോ വി ഹാവ് നോട്ട് ഡൺ ഓൾ ദി എക്സസൈസസ് ഇൻ ദ ക്ലാസ്, ബട്ട് യു ആർ ഏബിൾ ടു ഡു ദി എക്സസൈസസ്. ഹൗ ആർ യു ഏബിൾ ടു ഡു? Because the textbook is designed in such a way that it is a self-learning material. You can use the textbook on your own with some guidance from the facilitator, that is the teacher, and then you can develop your own language. So it is designed as it is created as a self-learning material. There are also some questions. Every core text as well as other exercises will have some questions. What are the purpose of these questions? It is to assess, it is to measure our skills. There are a lot of space in the textbook. It is not a very compressed textbook. There is a for you to enable you to do all the activities. In case you don't get sufficient space, you can do it in the notebook also. So if the space is not sufficient, you can do such activities in your notebook. Always follow the instructions which is given in the course book. Then it will be easier for you to learn anything that is given in the course book. It is not at all difficult. It is almost the same pattern that we followed in the first semester. So this is the first module. It begins with a quote from an African American poet called Maya Angelou. She says that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Okay. So this sets the tone for this chapter. And you can, what do you understand from this? It is a 4 line. It is something that some messages that you come across in good morning messages. Good morning messages ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ചില quotations ഒക്കെ കാണാറുണ്ടാവും. What do you understand from these 4 lines? Just type it in the chat box. What is the meaning of these 4 lines? I'm waiting for you to type something in the chat box. You didn't understand what is there? What is there on the screen? Can you see what is there on the screen?
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yes.
അതായത് ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ ഓരോരുത്തരോട് പറയണതും ചെയ്യണതും ഒക്കെ അവർ മറക്കും, പക്ഷെ അത് അവർക്ക് ഫീൽ ചെയ്യണത് അതൊരിക്കലും മറക്കില്ല, അങ്ങനെയാണോ?
Exactly, that is what it means. So if you ask, yes, exactly. It is the importance of feelings is what is. Suppose somebody says something to you, the exact words you may not remember. You may not remember the exact words of what you said, or even the actions may not be remembered. What you did, the action, pravrutti, but they will be how you treated them, how you behave. Exactly, the Sri Lakshmi has written that. If you heard them, as Shima has written, if you heard people, if you hurt their feelings. Okay, so this is the importance of feelings and relationships. Okay, so this is something that is very uh, important. So their actions may be forgotten, the words may be forgotten, but people will not forget how we made them feel. So the kind of feelings that they get because of our actions and the words. Okay, it is all the result of actions and words, but the actions and words are not important. The kind of feelings that go along with the actions and words, that are those are most important, and that is what is going to affect them. That is our behavior, how we behave with them. So this is especially with the people who are uh, close to us. We may behave well with people outside the house, outside the family, but how do we treat the people who are close to us? That is the problem. Most of the time, it is the problem how we treat our loved ones. That is the people at home. That is going to cause most of the kind of pain, not only to them but also to us. So this pain is something mutual. നമ്മൾ മറ്റൊരാളെ hurt ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ when we hurt others, what happens? Have you heard the saying, when we hurt others, we hurt ourselves? So it is not that we are trying to hurt. It also causes some pain inside us. So that is the cause of our unhappiness also. When we cause unhappiness to others, it also causes some kind of unhappiness inside us. Similarly, on the same note, when we cause some happiness to others, we also create happiness for ourselves. Okay. So this is true not only of hurting others, but also about uh, making others happy also. When we make others happy, we also become happy. So this is the theme. This is the theme. This is the theme of relationships that is we are going to discuss in this module. There is a poem which is not a core text, which actually is a lead in activity. ഇതൊരു core text അല്ല. There will be no questions from this, but it is a lead in activity into the main text, which is a story. Yesterday it was Mother's Day, and here it is a poem about the love for a mother that the children have. Let us just read that poem. Try to read that poem. Then I'll ask someone to read. Anne Maria, can you read that first two stanzas?
Yes, sir. Real love.
Please.
I love you, mother, said little John. Then, forgetting his work, his cab went on, and he was off to the garden swing and left her the water and wood to bring.
You can read this one also.
I love you, mother, said little Nell. I love you better than tongue can tell. Then she teased and pouted. full half the day, till her mother rejoiced when she went to play.
Okay, thank you, Anvitya. Now, if you look at this attitude of these children, the first child says that the child loves its mother, but what does he do? He forgets his work and goes to play, isn't it? He forgets his work, his cap went on, and he was off to the garden swing. And what had the mother had a lot of work, and the child is just saying, I love you, mother. Just that boy, little John, is saying. Does he really love his mother? The mother has to do all the work. She has to bring water to the house. She has to bring wood to cook food, to burn wood and cook food. She has to bring water and wood from a long distance. He doesn't help his mother. He put on his cap and went off to the garden swing to play. Does he really love his mother? That is my question. Yes, no, that is right. No, no. So, thank you for those responses. So, what is love? That is right, Sri Lakshmi. If he loves his mother, he will help his mother. Very good. And love has to be seen in our behavior and action, not just in words. Okay, words are not enough. So if you just say some words of love, that is not enough. It should be seen in the action. Look at the second child also. Second child also says. There is a lot of saying, speaking. But what is she doing? She is also teasing and laughing. Okay. So she is also playful. So she also, that is little Nell. It is an expression of pouting means കൊഞ്ചി സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഒരു എക്സ്പ്രഷനാണ് pouting. It is a movement of the lips pouting. That is what is meant by POUT, pouted, is an expression of the lips. So this Nell also says that she loves her mother, but all the half the day she is teasing and playing with her mother, but she is also not helping. And the mother felt happy only she went to play because her work is affected. She is not helping, she is also just saying, and she is playing with words with her mother. So these children, they have a lot of love in their words, but not in their action. Here we have another child. Let us see how that child behaves. And if we read those stanzas.
I love you, mother, said little Fan. Today I will help you all I can. How glad I am school doesn't keep. So he rocked the baby till it fell asleep. Then stepping softly, she took the broom and swept the floor and tidied the room. Busy and happy all day was she, helpful and happy as child could be.
This also.
I love you, mother, again they said. Three little children going to bed. How do you think that mother guessed? Which of them really loved her best?
Okay, thank you. So there are three children here. First one is John, and the second one is Nell, and the third one's name is Fan. You tell me which of these really loved their mother. Who really loved their mother? Yes. There are responses. People are responding. Yes. Shima has said that it is little Fan, the child named Fan. Yes, thank you for those responses. It is that child which loves because love has to be reflected in action. So, what does that child say? Thank you. Thank you so much for those responses. Nitya, Parvati, Haripriya, Dharma, Nandana, Safinath, and Vidya, Sri Lakshmi, Limia, Shima. Thank you for those responses. So, this child loves the mother. Why? Because she helps the mother. Okay, I'll help you all I can. And what does she say? It says that I don't have school. So school doesn't keep here means she doesn't have school. So she helps the mother take a look after the house. She helps her mother look after the little baby. She cleans the house. Okay, she sweeps the floor. അടിച്ചു വാരുക അതാണ് sweeping. Tidy means to clean. Tidy. Tidy എന്നുള്ളതിൻ്റെ past tense ആണ്. Tidyയുടെ past tense ആണ് tidied. Means cleaned. So she cleaned the room with the broom. What is broom? Broom എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ചൂല. Busy and happy all day was she. Because it's a poem. പോയത്തിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രക്ചർ, കവിതയുടെ സ്ട്രക്ചർ, പ്രോസിൻ്റെ സ്ട്രക്ചറും കവിതയുടെ സ്ട്രക്ചറും ചെറിയ വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ട്. Busy and happy all day was she means she was happy and busy all day. The other children were just happy. They were not busy. They were not busy. They were not busy because they were not helping the mother. But this child is happy at the same time she is busy. She was helpful and happy as a child would be. And after telling all these things, the poet is asking us, okay, these three children at the end of the day, when who will the mother love more? It is not just the mother loves all her children, but the highest love for the mother is for the third child that he mentioned. It is Fan, who helped the mother with her work. So here it actually sets the theme for the module, that relationships are based on how we behave with them. The better behavior that we have with our loved ones, we have a better relationship. So if you have a good behavior, it will lead to good relationships. So this is the message, that this is not just this activity. All the activities and the core text have this theme. Now let's move on to the core text. So this core text is written by an American writer called Flashback. It is a short story, A Christmas Day in the Morning. It's the story of a young boy. He's almost even younger than most of you. 15-year-old boy who helped his father in a special way. So what was that help, and how did he win his father's love, etc., is described in this story. First, we have a description of this writer, Perlsberg. She was an American writer and novelist. We have a picture of the author here. This is the author. She was an American writer and novelist Her novel, she has also written a novel titled Good Earth, is very famous. It won the Pulitzer Prize in 1932. 1938, she was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature for her rich and truly epic descriptions of peasant life. A peasant means farmer, കർഷകരുടെ, peasants, farmers. So she writes more about rural areas. Okay, rural means village. So that has got more appeal. If you learn about the village people, it has more loving. The stories of villagers are more loving than that of the city. So her descriptions of peasant life in China and for her biographical masterpieces. That is, the biography means writing a life story about someone else is called a biography. She was the first American woman to win the Nobel Prize for Literature. So the highest prize in literature is the Nobel Prize, and that was won by this American writer. So we are learning this story written by a Nobel Prize winner. So that quality of the writer can be seen in the story. So it begins with the boy's description. The boy is actually now an old man. He is remembering his childhood. It is a kind of flashback. You must have experienced such rememberings in movies also, where a man remembers his childhood. So the story is also narrated in such a way where a man remembers his childhood. So the same, he is a boy in his childhood. He remembers his childhood. And let us see what it is. Arsha, you can read the first paragraph. Arsha. Is not that?
സർ ആഷയ്ക്ക് മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ആക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു ട്ടാ.
Okay. Okay, next person is Adira KB, roll number 18.
He woke suddenly and completely. It was 4 o'clock, the hour at which his father had always called him to get up and help with the milking. Strange how the habits of his youth clung to him still 50 years ago, and his father had been dead for 30 years, and yet he walked at 4 o'clock in the morning. He had trained himself to turn over and go to sleep, but this morning it was Christmas. He did not try to sleep.
Thank you. So here we understand that it is flashback only when we read this paragraph. The വായിക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത് paragraph is about his childhood. This is an old man who is telling about his story, because here there are some clues which will make us identify the age of the people. 50 years ago, So these are the clue words which make us identify that it is a flashback. So he is remembering something which happened 50 years ago. 50 years ago when he was 15. So what is his age? Exactly, Joffrey. That is right. 50 plus 15, 65. So now he is 65. He is remembering his childhood when he was just 15 years old. So he is now waking up suddenly at 4 o'clock. Why is he waking up even now at 4 o'clock? Because it is a habit. So there is a saying in English, you have such sayings in all languages. Old habits എന്നാണ് die hard. ഇവിടെ ഡൈ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മരിക്കുക എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥമല്ല, പതിയുക എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥമാണ്. ഡൈ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഒരു അച്ച് എന്നർത്ഥത്തിലാണ്. അച്ച് പതിയുന്നത് പോലെ പതിയുന്നു, ആ ഒരു അർത്ഥമാണ്. ദാറ്റ്സ് ദ മീനിങ് ഓഫ് ഡൈ ഹിയർ. മരിക്കുക എന്നുള്ള അർത്ഥമല്ല. സോ വിച്ച് മീൻസ് ദാറ്റ് ഇഫ് യു ഹാവ് എ ഹാബിറ്റ് വിച്ച് യു ഹാവ് ബീൻ ഫോളോയിങ് ഫോർ എ ലോങ് ടൈം, that will remain in you till the end of your life. That's the meaning of old habits die hard. See, he woke up at 4 o'clock in his childhood every day. Now that is still with him. That habit is still with him. What is the peculiarity of that time? It was at that time that his father always called him to get up and help with the milking, because they had a farm and they had some cows. It was a dairy farm, so there were some cows which they milked, and that's how they lived. They were farmers. So he used to get up at that time, and his father used to wake him up. But now there is no such facility, but still he is waking up. Why? Because the habits of his youth are clinging. Cling means to stick, മുട്ടിപ്പിടിക്കുക. Like a glue, it is clinging to him. This habit is staying with him because he has been practicing something. Anything that you practice for a long time will stay with you for life, for the entire period of your life. So he is talking about this, something which happened 50 years ago when his father was looking after the farm. Now he has become an old man, and his father died 30 years ago. So if you minus 30 years, when he was 35 years old, his father had passed away. So his father was not there. He did not have a cow. He did not have to do milking now, but still he is waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So he has nothing to do, but he still wakes up at 4 o'clock. He had trained himself to turn over and go to sleep, but today it is Christmas and he did not try to sleep. So he is remembering his Christmas of his childhood during this Christmas. So Christmas is actually not just a religious day. It is not just the a day of religious celebration of a particular religion. It has got many other significances. Okay, many other significance. It is the time when the season changes. It is the time of the change of the year also. So it is a time of exchanging the feelings of love and happiness to others. It is a time where you exchange greetings. It is a time when you thank others by giving them gifts, etc. So it is not just a religious event of a particular religion. It is actually celebrated as a kind of universal celebration of relationships. So here he is trying to remember his childhood when he had a special Christmas. So what was that? How was it special? And all those things are described. So that is the theme of this entire story. In this story, we learn how he felt that his childhood was very special. So every time something happens in a particular day, that event is remembered every year, especially when it is a day to remember like Christmas. Okay, let us read the next paragraph. Next person, Uma, can read. Why did he feel so awake tonight? Is Uma there? Uma Umi. Not there. Okay, next person. Oh, she has come.
Hello, sir.
Uma Umi. Yeah, we read.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Uma, you can read that.
Why did he feel so awake tonight? He slipped back in time as he did so uh, easily nowadays. He was 15 years old and still on his father's farm. He loved his father. He had not known it until one day, a few days before Christmas, when he had overheard what his father was saying to his mother.
Okay, thank you. So this describes why this childhood and why his Christmas in his childhood was special for him. Because he understood about the love of the father for him only when he heard a conversation between his father and his mother. So he's remembering. So that's why it said it's a flashback. He was 15 years old. Now, as you said, he's 65 years old. He is remembering the time when he was just 15 years old. He was on his father's farm. He was helping his father. He loved his father, but he did not understand that his father loved him until he overheard his father. So, overhearing. To overhear means to hear something which is not actually meant for you. നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നതല്ലാത്തത്. Okay, so here something without the knowledge of the speaker. അപ്പോൾ അവരെ അറിയാതെ, അതായത് നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കാൻ ഇടയാവുക എന്ന് പറയാം. Okay, so here or something without their knowledge. Okay, without the knowledge of the person who is speaking. That's the meaning of overhearing. Hear someone or something without the knowledge of the speaker. അപ്പോൾ മറ്റു രണ്ടുപേര് തമ്മിലുള്ള സംഭാഷണം നമ്മൾ ചിലപ്പോൾ അതിൻ്റെ അടുത്തുകൂടെ നടന്നു പോകുമ്പോഴോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ അപ്പുറത്തെ മുറിയിലിരിക്കുമ്പോഴോ ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ കേൾക്കുന്നതിനെയാണ് overhearing എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. That is, the conversation is not actually intended for you, but you happen to hear it. Okay, it so happened that you hear it. So that is the meaning of overhearing. So there was a conversation between his parents. That is, his father was talking to his mother, and this boy happened to hear. So till now we don't know the name of the boy. Only when this conversation is heard, we understand what the name of the boy is. ഇതുവരെ he എന്നാണ് ഇതിൽ പറഞ്ഞത്. So who is this he എന്നുള്ളത് നമുക്ക് we will understand only when we listen to this conversation. So then we understand that who is this he. So that is there in the next paragraph. So here we get to understand the names of the two people here in the very first line. So we understand the mother's name is Mary, and what is the son's name? The son's name is, you understand it from the conversation itself. What is the name of the son? It is there in the first. Exactly, yes. So this is also a way of narrating a story. So if you want to write stories also, not directly mentioning people's names is not a technique that is used in story. The names have to evolve through the story. So this is also a technique that is used. Thank you for those responses. So many people are responding in the chat box. Thank you. So here the names of people are revealed by conversations. It's a good way of narrating a story. If some of you have any wish to become a storyteller, this is a good way of revealing the names of the characters through conversations. So here the speaker is the father. The father is telling the mother that he doesn't like to wake him up. So that is what he is saying. So we will read that. Abhirami AS can read that.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
read.
sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Mary, I hate you cold
Mary,
roast in the morning. Mary, I hate you cold roast in the morning. He is growing so fast and he needs his sleep. If you could see how he sleeps when I go into wakes him up. I wish I could manage alone. Well, you can't, Adam. His mother's voice was bricks. Besides, he isn't a child anymore. It's time he took his turn.
Thank you. So from this conversation, the names of all the characters are revealed. So instead of telling the names of people, the conversation reveals the names of the characters. So here we have the name of the father. What is the name of the father? We understood the name of the mother is Mary. The child is Rob. What is the name of the father? Father's name is Adam. Very good. Thank you. So the father is telling, thank you for the responses. The father is telling the mother that he doesn't like to wake the child up, helping him because he's a growing child and he needs to sleep. So the mother is telling the father that you can't avoid calling him in the morning because you need to take his help in the farm. You cannot do all the things alone. And this child is also growing up. He is already 15 years old. So when you are 15 years old, you are not considered a child. It is something between a child and an adult. Then you are considered as an adolescent. That is a person who is neither a child nor an adult. So in that age, you have to start taking responsibility. So that is what the mother is telling. He isn't a child anymore. He has to took his turn. This time he took his turn means to take turn. So now we are taking turns to read this story. One person reads, after that another person reads. So that is called the taking turns. Mari vaikano. So like that, in life also, one person cannot continue doing the same thing for a long time. So father or mother will be working. After some time, they will become tired. They will become old. Then the children have to take over the responsibility of looking after the father and the mother and the family itself. So this is what is meant by taking turns, and this is what the mother is telling. So he is hearing this conversation. The child is hearing this conversation. That is, Rob is hearing the conversation between his parents. We will complete the conversation and then stop. Okay, so this conversation is getting completed here. Abhinami Vedi, please read the next. Abhinami, unmute your mic and speak. You are muted. കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല. Atharva, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir?
please read.
Ye-
Read that paragraph.
Yes, his father said slowly, but I sure do hate to wake him. When he heard these words, something in him spoke. His father loved him. He had never thought of that before, taking for granted the tie of their blood. Either his father nor his mother talked about loving their children. They had no time for such things. There was always so much to do on the farm.
Yes, thank you. So here we understand how their conversation creates an effect on the child. Because till this time he did not understand that his father loved him. Because the parents never talked about loving their children, because there was a lot of work in the farm that they did not have time to talk about these things. So till then he had thought that he is a child of the parents, therefore he has to live in the farm and the house, and he did not understand that the feeling of love was there. Only when the father tells his mother about his sadness in waking up the child in the morning, his concern for the child's sleep, only then he understands that his father loved him. So this conversation makes him understand that his father loved him. So these are the key words which creates an effect on him. That conversation creates an effect on. അവനോട് പറഞ്ഞതല്ല, റോബിനോട് പറഞ്ഞതല്ല, പക്ഷേ but it was spoken by the father to his mother, and he overheard that conversation, and that creates such an effect. So he understands that his father loved him. So this is going to create a lot of effect on him. He will his mind is going to change, because he understands that his father loves him, and he wants to uh, return the love to his father in one way or the other. So how he does that, how does he show his love for his father, that is the entire story. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇയാളെ സ്നേഹം, അച്ഛൻ്റെ സ്നേഹം ഇപ്പോൾ ഇയാൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി, തിരിച്ചെങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇയാൾ സ്നേഹം പ്രകടിപ്പിക്കുന്നതാണ് ആ he does something to his father during Christmas, through which he expresses his love for his father. So that is the story which we will take up in the next class. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.